Hello and welcome to Chaos to Clarity, the podcast that's your compass to navigate the exciting world of service-based businesses. If you're a determined woman in your current business adventure, striving to conquer the chaos and build your empire, then you are in the right place. I'm your host, Maggie, your go-to business bestie and chaos navigator. I've spent nearly 2 decades in the service-based industry, building a photography business, a yoga studio, and now a thriving coaching practice. I've cracked the code to consistent income without all the chaos and noise. So get ready to increase your business growth, connect with your ideal clients, and find ease in both business and in life. It's time to turn your frustrations into inspiration and your chaos into clarity. So go ahead and grab your coffee, a pen and paper, and let's dive into the journey of building your dream service-based business together. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie. I am your business bestie, and I'm your Chaos to Clarity coach. And today I want to talk about your to-do list, my to-do list, our collective to-do list. But I want to talk about your to-do list, and I want to talk about it in regards to what do I do first? Where do I even start? Everything kind of loops into everything else, and I don't know which is the best option to start with, and all of the chaos that goes into where do I even begin to tackle this list? Okay, and I say this coming off of about 2.5 weeks off of quote unquote work. Now, I did do a bunch of work over the last 2.5 weeks, but it definitely was not as much as I normally do. Why? My kiddos were sick. So I was at home being mom, right? Doing the mom thing and silently melting down because I wasn't getting anything done in my to-do list. Now, I also want to say this is nobody's fault, right? It's not, it has nothing to do with like, where can I point the blame? Absolutely not. Because when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I want to be able to offer my kids the best care, as I'm sure all parents do, but my kids are going to come first. My family, my health, our health is going to come first. So I knew that as soon as I started seeing and hearing my daughter, my oldest, start to get sick, I knew I needed to, number one, mentally prepare myself for her to potentially be home with me during the week. And it also happened that our babysitter was taking some vacation, so Jackson was also home, which in the moment, I'm not going to lie, it was really, really stressful for me to know that both kids were going to be home and one was not feeling well, the other was, and trying to just like wrangle that and knowing I needed to basically clear my schedule without much notice. And luckily I was able to clear a lot of things and just shift things so that I could be just mom, right? So that I could kind of just step into those shoes without a ton of chaos around it. Now, that doesn't mean there wasn't chaos going on in my brain, because I'm not going to lie, there was so many intrusive thoughts coming in from like, why do you have to get sick? Why can't you be better? Why can't this be easier? What, all the things, just literally all the things. So as I navigated through that first week, I was like, okay, yay, great. Things are going good. Everything is great. Next week, off to the races. And then our youngest got sick. Now, why am I telling you this story? Because my to-do list just kept getting longer and longer and longer. And in that time, as I'm watching my to-do list grow, my anxiety is starting to bubble up. And I am starting to question, like, why can't I get all this stuff done? How come I can't do this? Like, why is this taking so long? You know, I have photo clients, I have coaching clients, I have all of this stuff, right? And then I had this thought of, it's okay. And what can I do right now in this moment, sitting here, rocking in the chair? What can I do for the next 10 minutes, 20 minutes that is going to help me calm my anxieties, right? It's going to help me do one successful thing in my business, even when things are not going, quote unquote, my way. And that, I'm not going to lie, it really helped a lot more than I thought it would. And that was so exciting to me that it helped more than I thought it would to focus myself for, just 20 minutes. And Jackson happened to be napping on me. So it was one of those, I was nap trapped. What can I do for 20 minutes just sitting here that will help me keep moving forward, right? Help me with that feeling of forward movement. Because when you're an entrepreneur and you are your own boss, right? Like you are the answer to all of the things, right? You can't always hand it off to someone else. So in that moment when I was literally just trying to like stay afloat, I answered a few messages in Messenger, and I started writing some notes. And I started writing some notes of, number one, they started out with like, what is on my mind right now? What can I just kind of get out of my brain? And what are the thoughts that are going through my brain? And then as I started writing those down, I started thinking about, well, I am really thankful that I get to sit here and be with my kids when they are sick. And that really, for me, it feels like such a blessing. And it feels like it gives me warm fuzzies, right? It gives me warm fuzzies. So I wanted to bring more like warm fuzzies to myself, because here's the thing, helping clients also like gives me that sense of like, oh my gosh, I get to show up for you guys today. I am so excited, right? So how can I bring that into my business? How can I let that permeate my family life? All of the things. So I also started, writing down things that I can do to, I guess, kind of move through all the chaos that was happening in that moment. And it really kind of looked like just writing down, what are my expectations for the evening? What are my expectations for the next few days, the next week, right? And this is what I did. When I knew that Jackson was going to be home for more than one day, right? He usually is at the babysitter 4 days a week. So on Tuesday, when I knew that he would be home on Wednesday, I said to Drew, I said, okay, I'm happy to stay home. I have a few things that I'm going to need some extra support in. And, then I said, I also am going to need some time in the evenings, which is normally not, number one, not my best working hours. And number two, just not ideal, right? I enjoy having the evenings from 4 o'clock on. Most evenings are dedicated to family time, with the exception of a yoga class. So a yoga class that I teach. So that is, so I had to ask for extra support. And that for me, I found that to be so difficult. And I also found that to be so interesting that it was so difficult. And I actually did some meditating and just kind of thinking around like, why is this so hard for me to ask for this? And, I essentially, at the end of the day, it came down to, it's hard for me to ask for this because I feel like I should be getting it all done during my normal working hours, which if you've ever stayed home with sick kiddos, you know that unless they're older, young, sick kiddos typically take up a lot of time. And knowing that really allowed me to open up and speak what I needed from a like family perspective. And it wasn't a lot, right? Like it wound up being a couple of hours in the evening to just really focus. And then Saturday, I I gave Drew a list of things. Here are some things we need for groceries. Here are a couple errands that, we need to finish up Halloween costumes and just a couple things that we need for the kids to get ready for winter. Can you take the kids and go and do these errands? And he was happy to, right? And I was a little worried that he wouldn't want to take both kids and go, right? Because it can be crazy. Yeah, going with multiple children, especially when one is feeling great and the other is on the mend. So that's what I was the most scared of, is that he was going to say no. And he did not. And he definitely understood that I bore the burden of being home and caring for our sick kid. Now, I started this episode off with my to-do list is forever long. What do I do first? So this story about sick kids, and I know a lot of you moms who are listening can relate, and I'm sure you can even relate, even if you don't have kids, but you've felt sick or you've gone on vacation and you come back and now you've got this to-do list and it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, and you're really not sure where to start. And I found that on Saturday when I sat down at my desk to work, right? I had basically the whole day set aside to work on things that I didn't get to work on for the past week and a half or 2 weeks. And, knowing that I had all that time also freaked me out a little bit, because now I have all that time and where do I start? Because everything kind of runs into each other. But here's the thing. When you are experiencing that decision paralysis and you're not sure what to do, where to start, just pick somewhere. Just pick one thing. Usually, and again, I know this is nothing new under the sun. Usually I pick one or two things that are super easy wins that I know I can get done in 10 to 20 minutes. And that gets me going, right? That kickstarts the drive to start to move forward and cross more things off the list, because then it kind of becomes like a game. And, I'm like, oh, this only took 10 minutes and I can cross it off the list. Well, what else can I work on? And how quickly could I get this done? And what, just all of those kind of things that really allowed me to check things off and feel like I really got some good headway done. And I'm not going to lie, on Saturday, when I started feeling that, oh no, my list is too long, what do I do first? I initially was like, I'm just going to start fresh. I'm going to reinvent every single wheel in my business. And then I talked myself out of that. And I talked myself down from that, because even though I was feeling overwhelmed and just frustrated and just unsure of what I wanted to do, I actually got some really good ideas, some really great idea downloads that have allowed me to, number one, not restart my entire business, but number two, allow me to open up some interesting coaching cohorts for the remainder of the year. And that then kind of dictated where and how I was spending my time on Saturday. And it also helped me frame my week starting this week. So as I'm recording this, it is a Monday. And I typically record a lot of my podcasts for the show on a Monday, at least the solo episodes. And I really love that, because I love the energy of a Monday. Okay. And if you are not the same as me, that's okay. But I think the energy of a Monday, because typically you've come back from a restful, at least hopefully restful weekend, and now you're kind of like ready to take on the week, right? You're ready to look at your to-do list and you're ready to get started. And this is what I tell a lot of my clients too. Especially if you're feeling like everything feels intertwined, I don't know where to start. How do I even choose? What are 1 to 3 things that you can choose right now that you can get done in the next 10 to 20 minutes, right? Can you create a post for social media in 10 minutes? Set a timer and do it, right? Sometimes it just comes down to exactly that, setting a timer and doing it. Now, in order for me to kind of stay in the flow, I have found that some background, just ambiance music really, really helps me stay in the flow. I actually listen to a Harry Potter like ambiance music on YouTube, and that has helped so much. The music is kind of familiar to me, and it isn't like there's no words, so it's just very much an easy way for me to tap into and not get sucked down the rabbit hole of social media. So number one, I suggest finding some music that helps. Binaural beats on Spotify are great. I have used them before as well. Or you can go on YouTube and find tons, and don't think too hard about it, right? Just go and turn something on if that helps in order for you to kind of keep working. And then number two, what are things you can do quickly, right? What are some quick wins that you can do in order to move forward and to start crossing things off your to-do list? Now, as I wrote down my to-do list. So I wrote my to-do list on Friday in preparation for Saturday. And when I got to my desk on Saturday, there were already things that I had done the day before that could get crossed off, which is really, really great. And I am so excited that I was able to set myself up for success like this. And I've done this in the past too. So if you are struggling with your to-do list and what to do first, like I said, choose 1 to 3 things that you know you can get done quickly. And even if you just start with one thing, start with one thing. Start with something that you know is going to be an easy win. For me, that's always creating a social media post. What kind of social media post can I create right now in about 10 minutes that is going to get me into the swing of creation mode, into the swing of work mode? And then how can I allow that to permeate further? Now, I talked a little bit about an offer that I'm going to be having come out. And I'm going to talk about this offer next week. And it's called the Conversation Evolver. So if you feel like you are, number one, getting stuck in your to-do list, and number two, you're stuck having little to no conversations, or your conversations with potential clients are just kind of blah and just kind of like not where you want them to be. Make sure you set your alarm. Just make sure you're subscribed for next week, because I'm going to be talking about the Conversation Evolver and what that is. So the Conversation Evolver is a new program. It's a group coaching opportunity for you. There will be some one-on-one availability, but this is for anyone, primarily coaches, primarily women coaches who are wanting to take their conversations to the next level and be able to connect with and create clients with ease. So that is what the Conversation Evolver on a high level is all about. And next week, make sure, again, you like, subscribe, rate, review, all the things, because I'm going to be talking more in depth about what the heck the Conversation Evolver is and how you can be a part of it, as well as some opportunities for some amazing bonuses. And I think I'm going to give some things away. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it. So that is where I'm going to end this today, because I could probably talk for another 20 minutes about this topic. So if you're feeling stuck in your to-do list, go ahead and grab your to-do list, grab a highlighter and highlight 1 to 3 things that you can do right now in the next 20 to 30 minutes. Put on some music, preferably without words, right? Either binaural beats or some ambiance music, and just go do the thing, right? Sometimes that's all we need is to just go do the thing. So I'm so excited for what's to come in November and December and into quarter 1. I've got some big things brewing. I hope you are all here for it. I hope you have the best day ever. I can't wait to talk to you all. And if any of this resonated, go ahead and drop me a line. What a Midwest phrase. Drop me a message on Instagram. I would absolutely love to have a conversation with you and hear how this all lands for you. I hope you have the absolute best day ever, and I will talk to you all again so soon.